Maybe right now your mind is waiting for something to happen. Then notice you can be aware of waiting too. How is it like to wait? You can watch yourself as you wait. Just sitting here, looking at your mind, waiting for something. And what does that do to you when you wait? What kind of feeling is associated with waiting? What kind of thoughts come together with waiting? Practicing meditation, walking on a path of contemplation like this, you are encouraged to look at yourself, to observe yourself. So this is not a matter of beliefs, like taking on another type of belief, another type of system. There's so many systems. Most people get attached to the outer shells of those systems. The cultural manifestation of those systems, the rites, the rituals, the incense, the candles, this and that, the crystals, the cushions, the colors, the dress code. There's a lot. Amulets, whatever it is. And so as long as we get attached to these outer shells, we don't penetrate to the core message of that system. That's a downfall that happens a lot nowadays. And I believe it has been happening all along. That what the great teachers of the past have discovered and seen, that only very few actually realized it for themselves. Because we are trapped in formations, in stuff, constantly. Our attention falls onto stuff, it gets stuck with stuff. Whether it is thought stuff, feeling stuff, conceptual stuff, hot stuff, cold stuff, broad stuff, narrow stuff, whatever. We get stuck. And as we get stuck, we become either the owner of that stuff. We're feeling like that stuff is in me, I'm in that stuff. Or we might feel like as being the stuff itself. I am that stuff. Like I'm an intellectual. I am a guru, a master. I am a meditator. I am a Buddhist. I'm a Christian. I'm a fool. I am not worthy. I'm unable. I will never do it. That is stuff, right? These are beliefs. And when you get stuck with a belief, then you might either feel that this belief is me, or it is mine. I believe that I don't deserve to be happy. I feel that I need to be punished. These might be very silent kind of beliefs. You don't say these sentences out loud in your mind usually, but they are an underlying stream of feeling almost. Feeling worthless. Feeling sad. These underlying kind of believe in those feelings. It doesn't have to be necessarily thoughts, formed sentences in your head, but it can be feelings in your body. For example, you might feel something contracting in the area of your chest. Then you think about it a certain way, a way that you have learned to think about it. That's depression. And then a whole plethora of thoughts comes with that. and becomes incredibly complex. It becomes totally blown out of proportion. We then don't see anymore that it's just a feeling in the chest. And if you really look closely, then you see that feeling comes and it goes. Then there's a feeling in your arm all of a sudden. Then suddenly you hear a bird. Then the fountain. Then you think, why does the meditation stop? And then suddenly you remember that feeling in your chest again. Oh, totally forgot. Yeah, there we go, I'm totally depressed. And then that kind of world comes out of this feeling again. Whether it's depression or any mental condition that we suffer from, it is because we are unable to separate reality, the fact, from our delusion, from the mental delusion that is there. The perceptions, the thought formations that come with it, the different viewpoints that we assume all the time, assuming habitual viewpoints. When you're looking at yourself, what kind of viewpoint are you using? How do you look at yourself? Where do you look at yourself from? How do you observe yourself? What kind of person are you? That changes from day to day, from hour to hour, from minute to minute actually. Your character, the way you see yourself and experience yourself changes all the time. It's highly unstable, totally unreliable, and in most cases very repetitive. The various habitual characters that we assume that we put on like a shirt, that are habitual. And that's the problem with that. It's a habit, so there's no mindfulness. When there is a habit going on, it's very difficult for mindfulness to be there. Yes, my teacher said properly, habit and mindfulness are opposites. Rhythm and awareness are opposite. They are moving away from each other. They're cancelling each other out. So it's really important to bring more mindfulness into these habits and noticing clearly, okay, right there, that's one of my habits. So it might be very helpful to actually note them down on a piece of paper, right? Write it down. What kind of Jack Cornfield, he calls them top 10 tunes, are playing in your mind. You can give them funny names if you like. The guilty one, or, that's not really a funny name, but you get the point. You can, the Sherlock Holmes or something, the inquisitive guy. Or what is it that is most dominant inside of your mind? The fearful one, the scared cat, the helpless victim, the amazing I can do it all. Whatever it is that we feel constantly, persistently, habitually, again and again and again, that one. Catch it. Make it seen. And this is the highest kind of practice you can actually do on the path. Make it clearly seen. Because out of that, you can understand it. Now, most people cannot do that. And why not? Because our attention span is incredibly short. Have you noticed? You sit in your meditation session and the attention is lasting maybe a few seconds just. Maybe just 1 second. Then it goes to the fountain. Then it comes back. Just being here, centered. Then it goes to the knee pain. Then it comes back to the center. And it goes to a thought, and it comes back. And it goes rapidly. If you really look well, then you will see that the mind moves rapidly. Your attention moves very fast. Everybody who says, yeah, I've been concentrating for 2 minutes, I can only concentrate for 2 minutes, that's ridiculous. Without practice, you cannot concentrate for 2 minutes. It's impossible. That requires a lot of consistent, deep meditation practice to be able to really concentrate as consistently as 2 minutes. That's 120 seconds with just one thing on your mind. That's a lot. Try. Yeah, I challenge you. You want to put it to the test, right? What I'm talking about is for you to be put to the test. This is not about beliefs. Now look at yourself. When you sit down in your room the next time, how long does your attention stay with one thing? One process. Right? And with such an attention span, clearly seeing something becomes impossible. Even you might recognize truth properly for 2 seconds. It has no impact. There's many spiritual teachings that are very popular nowadays because being so easy. I say it's very easy, you just realize that you are the universe. Done. And people love it. People flock to these teachers. Because, to face it, we don't want to make effort, but we want to get the highest goal within the push of a button. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be enlightened. So there is a teacher that says, well, then just be enlightened. Why do you make any problems? That does work for very few individuals. For the rest of us, we have to make effort, and very consistent effort, because we can see if there is honesty in our own mind, if we can clearly see, yes, we might realize truth properly for 2 seconds, but it lacks the power to penetrate so deeply that it changes every cell of your body, every cell, every facet of your mind, so totally, so radically, that you don't fall back into delusion. That's a for good change. That can be called awakening. Many people nowadays, they call themselves awakened or masters or whatever, or this kind of stuff. This is far out because they had a fancy experience. This is by far not. Just having one fancy experience doesn't make you an awakened master. It just makes you a person that has had an insight, a glimpse. Then the work is all about sustaining that. You need to recall it, right? Even if we say everything is consciousness, let's say, in some traditions they say everything is consciousness, everything is the nature of consciousness. You are consciousness. All right. You get that insight. I'm hungry. You're out of it again. You're not consciousness anymore. Now you're hungry. Right? And then we kind of put stories around it to justify it. Well, we all have to eat, and even an enlightened master has to eat and all that. But yes, but you need to look really closely at your own mind and actually see your experience. It is changing. You're not experiencing an unchanging state. That would be it. Experiencing something that is absolutely unchanging. You're done. There's no further things to do. Being that unchanging, being that deathless, as it's called. That's it. Until we are there, there's always work to do. The Buddha himself has said, I was never content. And that's a funny statement. I was never content with my skill set. That's the secret of my success. He has never been contented with his skill set. But he was talking a lot about contentment. And what did he mean? Well, be contented with your housing, with your food, with the necessities of your life. Let it be enough. Be content with stuff. But with your skill set, the ability to actually let go of stress and to stay rested in that realization, that we need to work on that. And so for sure, some people can get the insight into truth rather easily. We're all having a refined intellect. And if you put it well to use, you guide yourself well, you can have a solid insight. You can understand how the mind is arising and falling each second and so forth. Okay. But that is not going to do the trick for most people. So what do we need to do if you cannot directly attain liberation, like only a very few individuals who are kind of ready? They just get it and that's it. Right? One of those teachers, for example, from nowadays is Eckhart Tolle. He just had that one experience and it hit him. But I do believe that he's still on a path. He's still practicing. He's still refining. He's not done also. There's a continuous practicing and sinking deeper into that. But for him it was obviously exceptionally powerful. And that is very rare. For most people it's a gradual. The Buddha compared it to kind of a beach that goes towards the cliffs. Like the how do you call it? The coral reefs, right? And then it goes down and there is this sudden drop. But only after a long stretch of walking. The water doesn't seem to get deeper. But you just keep walking, and then there will be a sudden drop. All we need to do is just keep walking. That's the point, right? And this is where many people either don't walk at all, or give up on halfway, or just kind of go to another beach, try another technique, another teacher, and so forth. So they never get to the sudden drop. There's a lot of seekers. Very hard to find finders. So it is very important to actually practice properly. And the practice builds. And so we need to recognize our skill set. What do I, right now, need to work with? The highest truth? Of course, ego would love that. Ego would love to work with the highest truth right away. I can handle it. Give me the highest stuff. Give me the initiations into the highest tantric teachings, and I'll just rock it. Ego loves that kind of stuff. It can identify with it. It can be reborn into it. Now I'm an advanced practitioner. I'm an advanced meditator. So where can we start? We need to have this honesty, right? See yourself as you actually are. Not as you would like to be, as you feel you should be. But look at your mind nakedly. What is it doing? What are you doing right now? What are you saying? What are you acting like in life? How does your day currently look? Is it a very enlightened day? Is it a highest level day? Is there non-stop mindfulness? How is it like? You guys know yourself, right? As when you get up in the morning, first thing you think about. What was it this morning? It's the first thought that came into your mind after you opened your eyes. You remember?
Touch.
Huh? Touch. Yeah. It can be anything, right? So your eyes open and you can immediately establish mindfulness. That's pretty good. And then keep it. How about your mindfulness from bed to bathroom? How's that? How are you walking? You see, that requires honesty. How mindful are you really? Look at your day. And in the beginning, at least it was for me and a few of my friends also, it can be quite disillusioning. We like to think of ourselves as being quite advanced. But if you actually look at the way you spend your day, you will see, man, there's much work to be done. So it is joyful work, though. It's not a type of work that is gruesome. It is a joyful path. It's beautiful in the beginning, the middle, and the end. The question is your joy currently dependent on what you hear, see, taste, smell, touch? Like, for example, whatever I can say right now, it changes who you are right now. Is that the case? It might make you more unhappy or more happy, or more confused, or more understanding. You see, this is honesty. You see yourself as you actually are. Many times when my teacher spoke to me, I felt anger. Like, why is he so negative? It's always so negative, always suffering, suffering, suffering. Then what is honesty in that moment? To see myself and how I create suffering for myself. But I cannot do that because my finger goes out to the teacher. Does that sound familiar? That means, obviously there's work to be done. We like to think we are spiritual or meditators or very aware, very mindful, but then the proof is in the pudding and how we conduct ourselves within ourselves throughout every minute of the day. How we create suffering out of just sound or out of just smell or taste so easily. And then seeing that frequently, that's how it works. This is how I do it. This is how I make myself miserable. Then you have faith in the path. You feel, yes, that is a real way out. If I actually get to know myself, I get to know how the mind works, I have a real chance of intercepting harmful habits, stopping them right there, or letting go of them, to use a bit of a better word, just to let go of harm. It's like when you're holding on to something hot. It's nice to put it down. Sometimes you can't wait to put it down. It's like a hot cup of tea. It's too hot, it's too hot, it's too hot. Where can I put it? Nice. It's that type of attitude slowly develops the more that you see how you create heat for yourself. And so we're still in that realm of just seeing yourself like this, and this is part of the highest practice, to actually really just observe yourself clearly, to understand yourself clearly, to really break through to see what the mind just does is just thinking. It's nothing else. I'm creating hell in my mind through thoughts, through projections, assumptions, opinions, habits. Just like that. Boop. I feel miserable. Because I believe in the stuff my mind tells me. And so seeing directly is one option. Seeing directly into the illusionary nature of that self-talk. Now, if you cannot do that, what's an easier option? The easier option then is to train your mind to become more stable first. So that means sitting down and practicing to increase your attention span, make it longer. Train your attention to stay with your breath for as long as possible. Keep repeating that exercise until you get really good. This is internal push-ups. You're doing push-ups with your mind. Your attention becoming very strong, that will give rise to joy. We call that piti or sukha. Having joy in the mind, in the body, it gives you energy. Energy allows you to see more clearly. A longer attention span allows you to see more clearly. That's why you could do that, right? But some people cannot do that too. In fact, most cannot do that. Why not? Because we make other things more important. Everything else in our lives, and again that requires great honesty, seems to be more important than our own mind. Relationships, work, whatever. Eating, socializing, entertaining. That has priority for most people. At least for me, it does have priority. And it took me a good while to actually honestly see that. And with seeing that, I have a fair chance to get out of my pretense and start some real practice. As long as I have been pretending that I'm quite good, I do a lot of meditation practice, I'm doing fine, I avoided to see that actually my real pleasure was with other things. And so here we're coming to the point where if you cannot concentrate your mind, most people cannot do. What can you do that's easier even? Well, be kind. Go out there, help others. Get out of yourself. Do things for other people. Make them smile, make them happy. Spend time with them, listen to them, their problems. Because we all have problems. And everybody wants to get them off their chest. And everybody looks for someone that really appreciates them and listens to them. Be that one. And you will see just how quickly you become a happier person. If you become a happier person, you have more energy. If you have more energy, you can concentrate more. That's how it works. So being kind, there are levels too. So you cannot save everybody from the war in Syria right now. You cannot be that kind. But how kind can you be right now? What could you do to yourself or someone around you right now makes their life a bit better? And even most people, to be fairly honest, have difficulties with that one, being kind to themselves. So forget deeper meditation, higher insight and wisdom. We even struggle to be kind to ourselves. And if that is not, that's the foundation of the path, how you treat yourself. Mentally, physically, what do you do to yourself? And if that is wobbly, the house that you built upon that foundation is going to be wobbly. Not a real house to live in. So we have to first build a good foundation. So how can we do that? Well, practice, for example, the 10 perfections. Giving is the first one. Go out there and give. What can you give? You can give fearlessness to others. You can protect them and help them. You can give financial aid, if you can. You can give food to people. Shelter. You can give an ear. You can lend your ear, right? Listen to someone. Give your time, your energy. You can work for someone. That's giving. Do that a little bit. You cannot say that you cannot do that. This is so fundamental that we cannot say, no, I can't do that. Might not be the greatest meditator or the greatest wise person there is, but at least I can give a few things away. I'm not only talking about material stuff. Right? Time, fearlessness, kindness. These are all things to give. So practice, what is another perfection would be nekama, which is renunciation. What could you renounce? What is it that's harmful right now in your life, that is harming you or others, that you could give up? And I guarantee you, your life will be better as a result. If you give up things that are harmful, life is going to improve. If you give up things that make you sick, like sitting really badly in front of your computer, hurting your spine, injuring yourself, creating back pain, neck pain. You could renounce that and instead actually get up every 30 minutes and do some stretching. Very basic. Or renouncing harmful activities like using your mobile, your smartphone, just to the last minute before you fall asleep. Very harmful. It messes with your hormonal household, your melatonin levels. It disturbs the way you sleep and you cannot rest. It actually disturbs your brain. There's science on that. So you could renounce that. Have a better sleep instead. Have a better sleep, have more energy. Have more energy, you can do more kind things. Have more kindness, more energy. More energy, you can concentrate better. Your meditation will improve. Meditation improves, your wisdom improves. Your wisdom improves, the foundation improves. And so, well, compassion is another thing. Gratitude is another thing. It's not part of the 10 perfections. But gratitude is something so powerful. It immediately shifts your energy. What are you grateful for right now? Instead of what could happen to me later. What are you grateful for right now? Shift your energy. If your energy shifts, your life shifts. If you're continuously dwelling on fearful thoughts, for example, or insecure thoughts, or self-loathing and so forth, then your life will reflect that. And it is spot on every single time. You get what you habitually think and feel. That will be your predominant experience of life. You will see everything through that filter. So it is very important. So what could you do, And now let's say even you cannot do that. You cannot give, you cannot be more kind, you cannot uplift yourself. You are so damn weak, so much on the ground, so hit to bits and pieces. You're all over the floor. You can't get yourself back up. Seek help. Come regularly to a gathering like this, for example. That is one thing you could do. Seek out someone to talk to. Someone that listens to you, gives you good advice, or just listens to you. For some people, it is very advisable to visit a psychologist while they are practicing meditation. That's fortunately not most, but for some people, yes. You can't do anything. You're so paralyzed by your own mind, so incredibly stuck. There's no other way. Then go that way. It would be very foolish not to go that way then, even if you had that option. And let's say if you're even worse off, there is nothing you can do in that case. You just have to wait it out. Then it's that lifetime in which there is no possibility for you to do anything. It is just suffering that life. For some people, that's the truth. It's very unfortunate. But it is like that. And some people are deeply stuck in their misery. There's no way out this time. Does it mean forever? No. Just this time round. But what I always think is a good thought is to actually remind yourself that you do have power to change the way you think. You do have power to change the way you live. And you do have the power to make yourself and others a bit happier. I'm not talking about ecstatic bliss. I'm talking about a little bit happier. Each day, if you work on that persistently, step by step, slowly, 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 you'll get out of that hole. And then you have enough energy to further your practice, to go deeper on the path. So you need to have that honest assessment of yourselves to know, where am I right now? This is something I cannot tell you. This is something nobody else can tell you. Only you can know. And then based upon your honest assessment of your situation, your life, this evaluation, you can then move forward wisely, skillfully. This is what we all kind of can do, and this is a great, fantastic, beautiful option. I'm not someone that talks very heavily or severely like I did today, but I think this is a very important topic. To know clearly, yes, there are things that we can do, and to turn that whole severity of that talk around a little bit. This is a great outlook. You have the power to change yourself. You have the power to change your mind. You have the power to change your feelings. You have the power to lift yourself out of misery and to really honestly approach yourself with kindness, compassion, and wisdom. This is something we all can do. This is great news. To say, oh, I'm so messed up, I'm beyond hope. It is simply not true. Nobody is. That's a lie. I'm so messed up, I'm beyond hope. That's a lie. Next time you have that kind of thought, you know what it is. That's a lie. So you don't need to believe in that lie anymore, but retrain your mind to think a bit better. A bit more useful thoughts. Like, yes, I can do it. Chaka! Nobody can stop me, I'm unstoppable. Whatever it is that gives you power, that motivates you. Give yourself a pep talk. Give yourself a hug. Smile at yourself in the mirror. Do what you can to lift your spirit. Okay, that's all that comes to mind for today.